Brandy Ezelle. How are you?
I'm doing good, David. How are you?
I'm doing well. So if you go downtown or you look at Toomer's Corner on the webcam, something's changed. Something's going on there as far as the way people are crossing the street. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we implemented a new pedestrian crosswalk there called the X Crossing or the Pedestrian Scramble, which basically just means that pedestrians can now also cross diagonally.
And that started in June or July?
Started actually in early July, yes.
Okay. How's it been going?
Actually, it's been going really well. We are monitoring the intersection through our video feeds that we have, as well as live and in person, and just seeing how well it's going, how many people are walking diagonally versus still going, corner to corner. Mm-hmm. And what we're finding is that pretty much every crossing phase, we have people going diagonal. So they're using it.
Okay. I went in one of the downtown coffee shops near City Hall, and I just asked them what did they think of this whole idea. And they liked it. And what they said that I had not thought of was they thought that, like, for North College, that it might be easier to get in and out of street parking or to turn right off of Titchener onto College, that it might create breaks there. I don't know if that's anything we've observed or not, but I thought that was interesting that was their first thought.
It has the potential. I think our on-street parking in general creates some of those gaps. Actually, the on-street parking, while it's great for our businesses and things, actually does generate some challenges to traffic flow and movement. So we that's something that we deal with all the time with the traffic flow downtown.
So what do people need to know? It's College Street traffic goes left, right, and straight. And then Magnolia Avenue traffic goes left, right, and straight, all this at Toomer's Corner. And then pedestrians go in every direction.
That is correct. And the key takeaways for that is that pedestrians should not go unless they have their signal indication saying they should go. So we're watching for that walking man. Once that walking man is up, pedestrians can go. Otherwise, they shouldn't be.
So the folks that kind of stand there at their crosswalk and wait for the traffic light in their direction to turn green, and then they just go regardless of what the pedestrian light says, need to adjust or change that at this intersection.
Yes. Part of the keys to making this work, there's a couple of things. And one of those is that in order to get more efficiency for the vehicles, those vehicles that are wishing to turn right need the ability to do so without detaining the vehicles behind them. If there's a pedestrian in that crosswalk, then that car can't make a right. So we need those pedestrians to wait until we're actually giving them the indication to go, so that we can utilize the vehicle phases for those vehicles. And then we do the same thing with the pedestrians. We've blocked out all potential conflicts with vehicles and said, you guys can have the whole intersection, go wherever you want to, do it as efficiently as possible, and then we're going to go back to serving vehicles.
So for each cycle, you're trying to maximize what's happening. If traffic is going right now, you want to maximize that. If pedestrians are going, you want them to.
Yep. We want to maximize it on College. We want to maximize it on Magnolia, and then we want to maximize it for pedestrians.
I know early on I wandered downtown once or twice and would see people either just kind of not really figuring it out or trying to just do what they'd always done. Has that kind of gotten better over time? Have people gotten used to it?
It has. We did a lot of outreach. I'm sure a lot of people saw some of the things that were put out on social media and all that. We had a nice little party on the Paul, and I think that helped. And then we also staged what we called some ambassadors at the intersection for certain peak periods of the day, basically watching to see, who was still going corner to corner to corner as opposed to going diagonally. And then we would reach out to them and just kind of say, hey, did you know you can go diagonally? And so I think we've been sharing that information. And I think just social media and all, it's been a pretty big buzz around town, actually.
So where did the idea come from? I know it's been on your mind over the years. It's been on the city manager's mind over the years. Where other larger cities do it at pedestrian-heavy intersections. Kind of what was the genesis of this?
I think it's just what you said. It's been on people's minds. The city managers had an interest in it. We've talked about it. Other citizens and different people, industry will kind of mention it. And when it was first mentioned, 20 years ago, we didn't have as much of a walkable downtown as we do now. Over time, it is just the pedestrian activity has grown out there. And I think we just kind of got to that point where it was like, we think it's time to give this a try. And you mentioned it. You see it a lot in larger cities, particularly larger cities and downtowns that have a lot of pedestrian movements. So this is just our opportunity to show our growth as well.
So as far as what people need to know, vehicles, no ride on red. And I guess I could throw in there that bicycles are vehicles, so they would be on the road as opposed to on the sidewalk, especially in that core downtown area. Pedestrians only go on the pedestrian signal, not the traffic signal, and they have to press the button to even get the pedestrian cycle at all.
You got it all. Those are the key points right there. Push the button, wait for the walk, and only go when it's your turn.
And we've got sandwich board signs if people want sort of a visual instruction there. We've got signs on the pedestrian poles. We've got the no ride on red signs on the traffic poles. What else do we need to say about this?
Well, if we make the decision to go permanent, we will make some of those signages more permanent. We may look at some additional enhanced brick pavers to kind of help people understand the intent that we're trying to do. But those decisions would be made once we decide if we're going to keep it permanent.
Okay.
We will not get rid of the tiger paw. The tiger paw will stay.
Yeah, there's a whole story and history. I remember going out when the SGA would repaint the tiger paw on the concrete before we did the more permanent version in 2015, I think, ish. Yeah, so there may be some signage and other changes if this becomes permanent, but the tiger paw is here to stay.
Tiger paw is not going away.
Okay. Do you anticipate any changes heading into fall?
I think there's that potential. Our signals are very smart. They have a lot of capabilities, vehicle detection, things like that. So we're watching, making sure, ideally we want everybody to make it through the green in one cycle, but sometimes at Toomer's Corner, we just can't do that. We have more traffic than we have traffic lanes. We have the potential to make some changes to increase the green times for the vehicles to make sure they're getting the most efficient movement they can, as well as pedestrians.
So it's a lot of traffic in a limited space, especially in the fall, especially at 5, but you're always looking at those timings and trying to make it as best for vehicles, but for all modes of traffic and pedestrians alike.
Yes.
And you're also doing that throughout town, though, right? Different
We do.
intersections you time, and there's a whole science there.
There is a whole science there, yes. We actually have the ability to change timings remotely. We utilize that opportunity when we have like emergency situations, detours if the interstate's closed down, things like that. We can modify timings on the fly. We have different time of day patterns that we use at various intersections throughout town. We have coordinated signal systems, all kind of things we use to try to maximize the efficiency at our signalized intersections.
So we're always looking at it, always trying to make it better, always planning. And yes, there are some times when just sheer volume of traffic is going to be an issue, but we're trying to make it the best we can throughout town.
We do. And I've always kind of laughed about Auburn. You know, we talk about a peak hour. That's what most people talk about when they talk about traffic, a peak hour. And Auburn doesn't really have a peak hour so much as like it's maybe a peak half hour or something like that. Once we make it through that, we have a couple of those during the day. Most of the time you can get around Auburn when and where you want to in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But when we have traffic, we have traffic.
Right. So just to be clear, you have to hit the button. It's not voice activated.
It's not voice activated.
Done that joke before. Right now you are interim city engineer. How long have you been traffic engineer with the city overall?
A little longer than I would care to admit. I've been with the city as traffic engineer for about 23 years now, actually.
So there's probably much more we can talk about somewhere along the way.
Yes. Hopefully we can have more of those conversations.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that information, and we'll look forward to seeing what happens next downtown.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.